Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us, or you've got a good idea for a Leather Element, drop it in the comment box below. Shop Elements, Part 3. We're going to talk about some organization. Now, there's probably nothing here that is an earth-shattering trick or tip, but keeping our shop organized, absolute must. Because to me, there's nothing more frustrating than spending valuable shop time looking for something. So let's see if any of this is going to be a big help to you. We're going to start with leather. Hands down, the best way to store leather is flat. Well, the problem there is that not many of us have a shop large enough to do that. Rolling our leather is going to be a close second. But there's a couple of textures here, some things we want to watch out for. On our chrome tans, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, got a little body to it, we can simply roll these. They're going to tuck right up under our table, easy to organize. But there's a couple of textures we want to watch out for, and this is one of those. So this is a very supple leather, say our lighter weight upholsteries. If this is rolled incorrectly or rolled with a wrinkle in it, we're going to get a crease in that, and that's not going to come out. And in fact, as things go, the last project I'm going to pull out of this, I'm going to need exactly that piece, and I can't get that out. So let's just take a little extra care when we're rolling these. They will be fine. Now, suede, I've got this out because almost the same thing. It's a very supple leather, but I see these folded quite often, and we can do that, absolutely. The problem is the longer it's folded, the worse a crease is going to be. Particularly, say we've got it folded and say 4 or 5 more pieces of suede on top of that. That's going to give us a bad crease. We'll never get that out. Now, when we jump over to our heavier leathers, belt leathers, harness, bridle, these, let's just roll these. It makes a great way to store them. Let's roll them top grain in. Now, with our natural veg, we can have some light fading, and we're going to talk about that. But if I roll this top grain in, I'm not worried about sliding it in and out of my shelf as I use it, trashing my top grain. But most any of our heavier weight leathers are simply going to roll. It's a great way to keep these organized. Now, one cool little trick though. This is a leather knot. Makes it very easy. So all I have to do is pop it open. Well, let's make one of these. So let's take our leather and let's roll this. We don't have to be super tight, but let's try to roll that down a little bit. Let's bring that around. Now, this is just plumb line, and you can get this at any hardware store. You can use any kind of twine. I just like this because it really stands out. So let's take one in and let's simply loop that. There we go. So we've got a loop on one end. Let's roll our leather over that, bring this piece around. I'm going to go through that loop. Let's bring that up. And we don't even really have to be tight here. Let's just go under this incoming line, through the loop, and there we go. Now it's a little bit loose. That's okay. Let's roll our leather. There we go. It's going to expand out into that. So we just have to pop that. Easy enough to get to. Now, 2 cool things. I don't necessarily use these on my Weaver work table because the camera would see the end of a box. Not terribly appealing, but I love these. These are the boxes that we get our leather in. Yeah, from Weaver, right? Well, we can cut an angle in these. Makes a great storage place for our leather. Cuts down on light fading. Again, we'll get to that. I use these in my shop. Simply cut an angle on that. Makes a great way to organize my leather. But also, if you order chrome tans, you're going to get a smaller leather box. So let's tape some of these together, cut them short. Now we've got 4, 6, 8, 9 leather cubbies. Great way to keep our chrome tans. Now, let's do this. Light fading. This can be an issue, particularly with our veg tan. Not so much with our chromes or say our dyed, our pre-dyed leathers. But with a veg tan, if this sits out in the light, it's going to start to turn pink. Now, that leather's fine. We can absolutely use it. But if we do have a light fading issue, let's just wrap our veg tan in a big plastic bag. That's going to keep that light off of it. And again, very organized way to go. Okay, we've got a feel for our leather. Let's jump over to our pattern table, talk about keeping our liquids organized. We don't have to have a large shop or even a large workspace to do beautiful work. We can absolutely work on our kitchen table or our coffee table. But here's the issue. We're going to set up, we're going to have a great time on our project, but now we've got to do a quick teardown because, well, we're probably going to eat dinner. A simple plastic toolbox is absolutely worth its weight in gold for a couple of reasons. First off, inexpensive. If I spill dye in this, I'm not worried about it. But secondly, on that point, our liquids are fully contained. Even if I have a bad dye spill, and this has happened to everybody, you know what? I'm going to do a little cleanup and I'm going to move on. Everything is contained. But again, organized as well. These are great. I love these. All kinds of little pockets, containers, cubbies. So we can keep everything for dye right here. Now, I've got one of these in my shop. It's about 4 times the size of this. Everything I work with can go in one box. So again, very organized, but at the same time, absolutely contained. Now, when we step up, when we progress, we're probably going to step up to larger bottles, more dyes, more pieces and parts. Let's step over here because I've got a container that I absolutely love. This is a standing drawer organizer, and these are great for a bunch of reasons. First off, plastic, inexpensive. But secondly, we're getting a lot of storage space in a small amount of shop space. Always an issue, but I can keep just about everything in these. Again, inexpensive. This is a 3-piece, but we can buy these separately and just buy as many as we need. Stack them right on top of each other because we're not taking up more shop space. Now, when we jump over here, the reason I said I can keep most everything in this, it's not large enough to keep my quart bottles. But over here, shelf, not really a big trick or tip. But let's do this. Let's drop some of our plastic sheeting down. A big spill, not really my worry now. But if you've dyed one project, you know we've got that little bead of dye that goes down. Well, we can wipe that off. But what we never see is the fact that it immediately hits and circles the bottom of the bottle. So anything we set that on, it's going to leave a dye ring. I can pull this off in this shelf, not a spot of dye on it. So let's drop in some tracing film or some of our pattern sheeting. Okay, let's jump over to actual organizers. Let's talk about our hardware. Organizers are about the best thing we can use in our shop. Inexpensive, we can find these at most any hardware store or hobby store. But my only advice here is multiple size compartments because this is a problem that's plagued me since day one. A couple of swivel knife blades, not nearly the same size as say a couple of larger buckles. So therefore, if we can find these with smaller compartments, we can keep all kinds of things in these. I've got tip screws, punch tubes, swivel blades, but also in the larger right here, I've got setters, big box O setters, and blades. That's a blade for everything in my shop. Everything is in one place. Now, these also have fittings on the back, so we can mount these on the wall if we're short on table space, which, by the way, is always the problem. But one warning here, this shelf, it's called a crap magnet. Yeah, I had to organize this before I did a video on organizing our shops. But all told, this is a nice help, an extra bit of shelf space. Now, I don't have a beautiful show shop. This is a working shop, so therefore, pegboard doesn't bother me. But the pegboard hooks, inexpensive, and we can get those in all kinds of configurations. We can even keep our mallets and our squares up here. But again, space saving and organizing. That's what we're looking for. Now, on our baggies, this is just about the best way I found to store and organize our patterns. So let's jump back over to the Weaver shop, take a look at these. Another extremely inexpensive item that is a huge help to us. These are the large baggies, and we can get these at any grocery store. This is a 13 by 15 or a 2-gallon, but that holds everything. Right there, holster and sheath, saddle bags. I can keep all kinds of stuff in these. There's feathers, artwork, there's all my templates, pouches. I've got every pouch design in one place. So again, organization, super easy. These simply hang on my pegboard. Now we've got items that are too big, like right here, a pair of lace-up leggings, or much larger, a briefcase. Let's just punch a hole, run some lace through that, make a slip knot, and that too will simply hang on my pegboard. Again, nothing really earth-shattering here in the way of tricks or tips, but I hope there's something here that's going to help you keep your shop organized. Because to me, there's nothing more frustrating than spending our valuable shop time looking for something. I hope this is good information for you. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.